So you know that in the last period, we have seen the twisting couple acting on a cylinder. Now, after having seen that one, the next article that we are going to see here today is bending of a beam, or first of all, we will like to see about the beam. So what is beam that we are going to see here? So what is beam? So bending of a beam and bending moment of a beam. These two articles we want to cover here today. So first of all, beam. What is a beam? So beam is nothing but it is a rod or bar of uniform cross sectional. It may be of rectangular or it may be of rectangular or circular. Both may be there. It may be circular also or it may be rectangular also. Its length is very long as compared to its thickness. Thickness बहुत small रहेगा और length बहुत ज़्यादा रहेगी. You can see this picture. This is A, B, C, D. This is a rectangular bar. Its length is very high as compared to its thickness. The beam is considered to be made up of large number of planes. See here, this is AB, it is one plane, MN is another plane, DC is another plane. That means the beam or the bar which we are considering that whose length is very high and its thickness is very less, that is called as a beam, and beam is considered to be made up of large number of thin parallel layers, and these layers are termed as surfaces, and these surfaces are one above the other. एक के ऊपर एक, पहली फिर दूसरी फिर तीसरी, इस तरह से एक के ऊपर एक जो है प्लेन्स रहेंगे. Now let us see here. Consider a beam is there. One end of this is A, B, C, D. This is the beam like this, consisting of different layer A, B, M, and DC, and so on. One end of this beam, it is fixed to the rigid support like this. With the help of a rigid support, it is fixed. While to the other end, the weight or load W, it is attached. Isn't it? Now, due to the action of this load, or in other words, you may call due to the application of the weight W or load W, the beam is bent, मुड़ जाएगी, इसी तरह से झुक जाएगी, bent to form a circular arc by the application of the external couple. That means when the weight it is applied to that one, when the weight is allowed, when the weight is applied, that means external force is applied, then beam get bend like this. झुक जाएगी, उसके अंदर डिप्रेशन या झुकाव पैदा होगा. It will form a circular arc due to the application of the external couple. And taking the longitudinal section of this beam now, A, B, C, D of the bent beam, झुकी हुई बीम में bent हुई हालत में अगर उसका longitudinal section अगर हम कंसीडर करें A, B, C, D इस तरह से, तो we found that कि ऊपर जो लेंथ है upper layer AB, it is get extended, उसकी लेंथ बढ़ जाएगी, जो लोअर लेंथ है उसकी लेंथ कम हो जाएगी. That means when the beam, which is a long uniform rod consisting of the different surfaces, then when it is suspended to the rigid supports at one end and other end is loaded with the help of the some weight W, then under the action of this weight W, the couple is created in the beam, and under the action of that couple, beam get bent, झुक जाएगी, झुकाव डिप्रेशन उसके अंदर आ जाएगा, और ये झुकाव जब आएगा उस वक्त एट द टाइम ऑफ डिप्रेस्ड depression, yeah, in the depressed position, equilibrium position, if you see the situation halat of the surfaces or the filaments, you found that the upper surface AB, it get elongated or its length is increases, and the lower surface DC, its length get half or it gets compressed, isn't it? That means in the upper and lower filament, in the upper and lower surface, there is a one beam, there is a one surface, there is a one plane which is neither get elongated nor gets suppressed due to the bending of a beam. यानी कि जब बीम बेंड होती है तो ऊपर की सरफेसेस जो रहेंगी उसके अंदर इलोंगेशन होगा, एक्सटेंशन होगा लेंथ का, नीचे की जो रहेंगी उनके अंदर कॉम्प्रेशन, सुकड़ पैदा होगी, लेकिन इन दोनों लेयर्स के दरमियान, इन दोनों लेयर्स के बीच में एक लेयर या एक सरफेस ऐसी रहेगी वो जो तो ना तो एक्सटेंड होगी और ना तो कॉम्प्रेस होगी. इन बिटवीन अपर एंड लोअर सरफेसेस or in between upper and lower planes, there is a one plane which is neither get extended not get compressed, and that plane or that surface, it is called as the neutral surface. And in this figure, if you see this Yamian, this is the AB, it is the upper surface, DC, it is the lower surface. AB, it is get elongated. You can see here its length is increases due to the application of the weight, while the DC, its length is get depressed or compressed one. While in between ABCD, there is a one plane or one surface MN, which is neither get elongated nor get compressed, isn't it? And that plane or that surface, it is called as neutral axis. It is obvious that the length of the filament increases or decreases in proportion of its distance away from the neutral axis. यानी कि जो लेंथ बढ़ेगी फिलामेंट की, कितनी लेंथ बढ़ेगी, कितनी लेंथ कम होगी, इसका दारोमदार, इसका इन्हिसार होगा कि वो सरफेस लगाए हुए बेड से कितनी दूर है. That means the distance of that neutral axis from the surface will decide that how much elongation is taking place and how much compression is taking place in the surface. The layer below Mn are compressed while those above Mn get elongated, and there will be such pair of layers, one above Mn and one below the Mn, experiencing the same forces of elongation and compression. That means ऊपर वाले layers में जो elongation की force लगेगी, same value of the force will be applicable to the layers which are below, which are getting compressed. That means the layers which are getting elongated and which are getting compressed will experience the same forces, the same value of the force. The same value of force will be applicable on the upper layers. As a result of this, the force, these layers will be get extended, and the same value of the force will be applicable or experiences by the lower layers, and under the action of that force, that layers will be get compressed and they form the couple. The resultant of the moment of these internal couples called internal bending moment, and in the equilibrium condition this is equals to external bending moment. यानी कि जब ये दो कुव्वतें उसके ऊपर लगती हैं, these forces or the moment of these internal couples is called here because due to this couple bending is taking place. Therefore this moment or this couple, it is called as the internal bending moment, and when the position is equilibrium is equal to the external bending moment. So with this one, we have seen that what is beam? That beam is a long uniform rod which is made up of any material. It may be made up of wood, it may be made up of any cement concrete, or it may be made up of paper also. Long uniform rod. हमारी लकड़ी की अगर स्केल देखें पट्टी तो it is also a beam. Isn't it long रहती? उसकी लेंथ ज्यादा रहती लेकिन थिकनेस कम रहती. That can be also be considered as a बीम. इवन लोहे की अगर हम बीम देखें, जो हम घर में बीम डालते हैं, you can see at the time of construction of the RCC building, we are using a beam. हमारा मिस्त्री इसको बीम नहीं भीम बोलता, बट इट इज नॉट भीम, इट इज बीम. यानी कि लोहे के जो है लोहा और सीमेंट को मिला के लंबे से जो है तो बनाते हैं. लेंथ कम, थिकनेस कम रहती लेकिन लेंथ ज्यादा रहती. That is called as the beam structure, and beam can support the heavy loads in the construction of the RCC building. So that is the beam structure. And beam, it is a long uniform metallic rod or wooden or paper which whose length is very high as compared to its thickness. Beam can support the heavy loads at the time of construction of the RCC buildings. Now beam is made up of large number of pillars, isn't it? These pillars are one above the other. These pillars are called as the surfaces. When the beam is fixed at one end and loaded at the other end, then under the action of this weight, beam get depressed, beam get downloaded, and when it get depressed and the depressed position, the layers which are present at the top will get elongated, and the layers which are present at the lower, they will be get compressed, and the layer which is present in between upper and lower surfaces is neither get elongated nor get compressed. That is called as the neutral surface. As the action of the load W or due to the application of the external load W, the couple is generated. That under the action of that couple, depression is taking place or bending is taking place, and therefore that couple is called as the bending couple, isn't it? So with this one, we come to know that what is beam and how the bending is moment or bending is taking place in the beam. Now next article we will see tomorrow that what is the expression for the bending moment. So with this one, I will stop here today. Thank you for joining me. If you are having any question, you may please ask me. Thank you.